Hi, I'm Little Art Demon and welcome to my channel. And on today's video I'm going to be drawing my spidersona and also another one that you'll see in a moment. And I hope you really like this type of video because I really enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun and I think I'm going to make some more spidersonas in the future. I have some ideas in mind and I think they will be really fun to draw. So let's just go. As you can see, I'm just starting with a sketch and I made this concept art, so it's very simple. It's just a Spider-Man suit, it has some lines across it and it also has a sneakers and it has this hood. I think that's what I would call it, I don't really know, but it's basically just an overlay because I thought the silhouette was very simple, so I just added it on top. As you can see, I'm sketching 4 poses. I did this because I didn't want just to have one drawing. I think this way you can see a little bit better of what the concept was, and this way I practice a little bit more of some pose drawings. I'm trying to get better at drawing full body pictures, so this was great practice too. As you can see, I'm making 2 full body drawings and 2 face drawings. The face is one of them as a close-up of the mask and the other one is just the face without the face mask. And then the 2 full body ones, one is just me acting as Spider-Man, and then the bottom one, the smaller one, is just an extra pose. So in this universe, this is my spidersona, by the way. But I wanted this to be a universe where I would be bitten by a radioactive spider and became the Spider-Man of this universe. And I think if it happened to me, it would be a little bit weird, just because if a spider bit me, I would freak out. Like, I would actually freak out, so that's why I decided to make it not very spider-like, so I didn't have the spider webs on my suit. I had some lines, and then, as you'll be able to see, I'll be adding some flowers, but it's not very spider-like. I imagine that my origin story in this universe would be something like I was just in my home after moving out and a spider showed up and I panicked and I tried to throw things at it, but I was alone, so no one could kill the spider for me, and I would be kind of scared because, fun fact, I'm terrified of spiders. I think if I was Spider-Man I would freak out just because of the spider part and then the webs. No thank you. But anyways, the spider just bit me and I freaked out and I passed out, and then when I woke up the spider wasn't there, but I had some weird powers and then I became Spider-Man. But anyways, this is a very simple design. It was a lot of fun to draw and it was actually great to see all the spidersonas. I know the Spider-Man movie came out a little while ago. I really like the Miles Morales series and I'm very excited to see the last one. I don't know when it will come out, probably not this year. But I really liked the first one. The second one was great too, and even though the hype has already moved on a little bit, I really felt like drawing my spidersona and also some more. In this video I'm drawing this spidersona that would be a representation of myself and how I imagine I would be if I was the Spider-Man of this universe. And then I'll also be drawing another spidersona that would be a representation of one of my projects, I would say. It will be better for me to explain it a little bit later. I also decided to make these drawings very simple. When it comes to the shading, I decided to have some more colorful designs because the movies are very colorful and they have a great use of all colors and also textures. So I felt a little bit inspired to make something in those lines. Oh, and I also kind of updated the avatar. It's not really an update, like the drawings are the same. I'm using ViadoTuber for the avatar part. It's very easy to use and I'm really enjoying using it, so just a quick note. As you can see right now I'm adding the colors and they are just blue and black, and as you'll be able to see I made a few changes from the concept, not a lot, just a few. The biggest one was that I added some flowers to the mask on the face and also some parts of the body, and I think I changed the gradient too, but we'll be able to see that in just a second. It's a very simple suit for Spider-Man, but I really liked how it turned out. I really like that even though it is a very tight suit, it's very body fitting, but it still has that jacket. I really like the jacket because it just added a really nice silhouette to the caricature. That's very nice pronunciation, but anyways, for the shading part I just selected all of the areas that were colored and I created a new layer. I set it to multiply and I basically painted everything in this dark blue color. I think I changed it to purple later, but I started with blue. And then I just started to add some white, because when you add white in a multiply layer, that part is just transparent, it doesn't do anything. So I start to use white as an eraser and I just shaded a little bit all over the place, and then I kind of did the same with the highlights, but instead of using white I used black to erase, because when you add black on the highlights it doesn't show up, it's like an eraser. So I did those and it was a very simple process. I just kind of did what I thought would look good, not necessarily very anatomically correct or very realistic, I would say, but it worked and I'm very happy with the results. And besides the shading, you'll be able to see in just a minute, I also added some highlights, some more colors, because as I said before, the Spider-Man movies are very colorful and they use the colors and they have such a great art style. I felt really inspired by it, so I decided to add some more colors to my drawings. It's not something that I do a lot, but I decided it would fit the occasion and it also ended up looking great, so I'm not even mad about it. I also did something a little bit weird that I've never done before, but I don't know if you remember, but a little while ago there was this trend online where you would paint the forehead yellow and then the middle part of your face, like where your eyes are, and your nose would be red, and then on your chin and mouth would be blue. I kind of did that a little bit. I don't know if it worked, I don't know if it did or not, but anyways, it was just a first try and I think it ended up looking okay. I put the opacity of that layer very low and it looked okay on the face, so I just kept it, but it didn't make that much of a difference in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I just didn't do it right. Besides that, I just added some texture to the hair. It was very simple, I just used one of the texture brushes that I really like for hair, and I also shaded the eyes. I really like shading the eyes, it's one of my favorite parts. But besides that, I didn't do much more when it comes to shading. Oh, and I added some blush and some blush to the face and the lips, just because the face was looking very blank, and a little bit of blush, a little bit of red or pink on the face always look great. But as you can see right now, I'm starting to add some colors, like there are colorful lights pointed at the drawing, and I chose to use blue and pink because I thought they would fit very well. And then I also just added some shading on the backgrounds. I didn't draw a background, but just so that the character that is sitting would be sitting on something and the character that is leaning on a wall would be leaning on a wall of some color. And I also add some white highlights, as I always do. This next spidersona was kind of similar. Here is the concept, and as you can see it's kind of a steampunk aesthetic. Not very steampunk, but a little bit. Which is a style that I really like, but it's a little bit hard to draw because there are a lot of details and mechanical details, and I'm not very good at drawing objects, so it was a little bit of a challenge. But I wanted this spidersona to be a personification of one project that I'm doing. It's a project that involves a lot of research about mythology. It's not something that will come out soon or anytime soon. It's just something that I've been working on for a few years now, but it's still on the beginning stages of creation. But in this project, basically, I've been researching a lot about mythology from all around the world, which has been a little bit challenging, not gonna lie, because I want to represent a lot of cultures in the story when it comes to mythology. but it's a little bit hard to research because, for example, European mythology, I have a pretty good idea on what I should do to be respectful to everyone, and there isn't a lot of rules because you can add just minotaur, centaurs, dragons, anything you want, really, just anything you want, and it will be okay. But I know that for some cultures it is offensive to use their mythology in projects or for monetary reasons, so I'm trying to research a little bit more on that. And also just research mythology in general because I want to create my own lore for my story, and it's been really fun to do that. I've been enjoying it. For now I have a few really fleshed out lore of some creatures, and the other ones are just in the beginning stage, but it's been a lot of fun. So you can leave me in the comments if you have a favorite mythical creature from your country or from the world, and I'll probably include it in my story because I want to include as much as I can, so you can just comment it down below. But anyways, I imagine that this Spider-Man or Spider-Woman, I don't know their gender, it's a concept, so I don't really know. But anyway, I imagine that this spider person on this universe would be basically researching for mythical creatures or even just studying and cataloging them. I didn't draw a notebook on the drawing, but I felt like in their normal day life they would be researching and be like a historian, where they would just study mythical creatures and how they work and all of that. And I think it looks so good. I don't know, I just really liked how it turned out. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I just really like how it turned out. But anyways, and when they are on their civilian form, they will live in a world where mythical creatures are real and just exist amongst humans, but they would be someone that studies them, like a biologist or an historian that would study how these creatures came to our world and why they have magic. But then one day they got bitten by a magical spider and got their spider powers and became this Spider-Woman. And when they are using their spider powers, they would just protect people from some mythical creatures that would be a little bit more dangerous and try to attack, or even they would just try to protect mythical creatures from people sometimes, because we know how humans are. Sometimes we mess up with the animals on our world, and I think it could be the case in different universes as well, unfortunately. But let's not get sad in the video, okay? So I wanted this to be in a kind of old world, but also modern. So steampunk, I think it's the great aesthetic that combines those two things. So I took inspiration from that. As you can see, there are some spider web designs on her suit, and they aren't actual like spider webs. They have this intricate shape that I changed a little bit because it was too complex, but then I just did it a little bit simpler, and they have these kind of square shapes in the middle, and I also added some square shapes to the wrists and also above the knees, just because I felt like those would look kind of mechanical. And of course there's a net, because I felt like the head was just very empty, and I wanted to add a net because I think it's very steampunk. I always see people wearing hats when they are in that aesthetic in specific. Besides that, I also added some leather details all over her body, together with some boots for her shoes. Even though Spider-Man doesn't necessarily wear shoes, I added this type of boots. And I also, she's wearing a corset and this shirt underneath that has these flappy parts on the bottom. I don't know what to call them, but I think they look really good. I really like the design on this one. It was a lot of work to get the colors right. I needed to look up some color palettes on the internet, and it was a little bit hard to come up with colors that would look good together, because in the beginning I was trying to use the typical Spider-Man colors that would be red, blue, a little bit of white and black, but it wasn't working very well, so I quit that and I added these green and brown color palettes that has a little bit of white in there too, but it's mostly green, brown and also black. For the civilian design, I just used the actual colors of the suit because on the first one it was a little bit of trouble for me to figure out a way to make my civilian form fit with the outfit for Spider-Man, but I ended up not changing a lot because it was a drawing of myself, so there wasn't a lot that I could change, so I just kept my colors. But for this one I decided to make the civilian design look a little bit like the Spider-Man design, at least when it comes to colors. So I added these earrings that have these mechanical pieces just like in her suit, and I added some dark hair that contrasts with her black sleeves on the suit, and also green eyes like her shirt, and darker skin just because I thought it would look very good, and it was also one of the colors of the concept. In this one I'm also adding some of those colors to make the drawing pop a little bit. The shading process was very similar, but the colors on this one for those lights were different because the blue and pink weren't working that well, so I just went with pink and green, and I think it ended up looking great. I really like the green on this one. But now the video is almost ending, so you can leave in the comments which one of these two was our favorite and which ones would you like to see in the future. I'm thinking about maybe doing some Disney princesses or even some TV shows if they had a Spider-Man in them, but you can leave in the comments what would you like to see. Subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. I'm trying to upload more regularly, so you don't want to miss that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!